this Broncos team is cursed. I don't know what Indian burial ground they practice on, but unfortunately, we have more bad injury news to get to today. The only silver lining is we do have a positive Javonte Williams update to sandwich some of the tough injury news to go over, but I fully believe this team is cursed. I don't know what they did to someone about 10 years or so ago, but ever since the Super Bowl, this team has been one of the most injury reserve plagued teams in the National Football League. But let's get things started with Jonas Griffith, the linebacker, who has been lost for the 2023 season due to an ACL injury, according to Mike Kliss. And this is not the first player to go down for the 2023 season. We know by now Tim Patrick has been confirmed to be gone for the season with a ruptured Achilles. Now, Jonas Griffith, unfortunately, has been a bit of a frequent flyer when it comes to the injury reserve. He has spent 2 stints on it so far with the Broncos ever since he got traded to Denver from San Francisco at the start of the 2021 season. Now, I want to show Jonas Griffith some love because there was a point in history. You might remember this. Going into 2022, after 2021, where we were all getting very drunk on the Jonas Griffith Kool-Aid. He had a really strong ending to the 2021 season, and then Alex Singleton was born, and him and Josie Jewell, well, the rest was history in 2022. But I'm sure Jonas Griffith will be looking to see what people are saying about him, and let's let him know that Broncos country is rooting for his recovery. Let's get 500 likes for the linebacker. Now, a season ago, Griffith had 46 tackles, 26 solo tackles, a pass breakup, and an interception. I think he picked off, was it the Texans game he got the interception? I don't quite recall. But at the end, he was limited to 9 games, as has been, unfortunately, the story for Griffith so far in his NFL career. A lack of availability and an ACL injury just pours salt on that wound. Ultimately, though, this sucks for Jonas Griffith. I don't think it's a absolute death blow to this Broncos defense. They still have a lot of great pieces on there, but you never like to see injuries at any point in the year, but it always feels like it stings a little bit more in August and in the preseason. But this team is just cursed, and honestly, this will sound a bit dramatic, but if anyone else has a better idea, I'm all ears. But for now, I think you got to move the practice field. There's something about this practice field. There's something about Sundays. I mean, this team has to get rid of all the bad mojo and voodoo, and they've got to go and move the practice field and try and just start fresh because the injuries continue to pile up, and they just show no sign of slowing down. Now, when it comes to a replacement, I don't think there really is a big-time replacement coming. I saw Denver added a linebacker, but regardless, you still have your 2 starters in Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton, and I think you're going to see this guy start to step up a little bit more. Drew Sanders, Denver's 3rd round selection from this past draft. He was already going to be the 3rd linebacker off the bench, so you kind of lost your 4th linebacker, if you will. But I do think this probably creates some more snaps and some more playing time for Drew Sanders following the Jonas Griffith injury. Now, before we get on to the other injury news here, our August sub battle with the Raiders report is pretty close out the gates here. They're up 25-17. I don't only want to just destroy the Raiders week 1. I want to beat Raiders report in subscribers this month. They are one of the best channels here at Chat Sports, but I know that we are all ready for a changing of the guard when it comes to this rivalry. And let's get that started right now, and let's let that kind of bleed into week 1 and let the players on the field take care of business there. But make sure you subscribe if you hate the Raiders. Now, some good news to get to here. Javonte Williams. Sean Payton announced that Williams will play in the preseason. Sean Payton spoke to the media today and said, might not happen in the first week, but they're optimistic that with his great progress, they will see him in week 2 of the preseason. By now, we all know the injuries that Javonte Williams suffered against the Raiders last season in week 4. Multiple torn knee ligaments, a lot of very serious injuries. Not your standard ACL recovery. This was a lot more complex and layered. And to see him play in the preseason, I don't think anyone in that organization saw that coming just like 4 or 5 months ago, right? I mean, we're talking back in February. There was a lot of fear that Javonte Williams would miss a chunk of 2022 regular season or 2023 regular season. Now we're looking at seeing him play in the preseason, which I would think just virtually locks him into being ready to go, no questions asked, week 1 of the regular season. Now, coming back from an ACL is not easy, and it's a borderline medical miracle, in my opinion, for him to come back from an ACL, an MCL, and anything that ends in a CL. But there have been some great success stories of running backs having good bounce back years after tearing their ACL. Adrian Peterson, he won the MVP award after tearing his ACL and averaged 6 yards a pop and scored 12 touchdowns. Jamal Charles with the Chiefs, he rushed for 1,500 yards and averaged 5.3 yards a carry and scored 5 times in all 16 games. So you can see there are some great success stories, but those were coming off ACL tears. And the difference is an ACL to an LCL and a PLC tear, whatever that means, is it's not as simple, right? Look at J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, 2 players that suffered major injuries like Javonte Williams and did not fare very well in their first season back. J.K. Dobbins had to get a second knee surgery midway through the 2022 season after missing the entire 2021 season. Meanwhile, Gus Edwards, at one time, he was a fantasy football waiver wire legend. Unfortunately, a major knee ligament injury to him caused him to not have a tremendous bounce back season. But will Javonte Williams rush for 1,000 yards? Yes or no? I want to get everyone's thoughts in the comment section because we saw that Adrian Peterson and Jamal Williams were able to do it, but the same could not be said for J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So be honest with me down in the comments. Do you think that Williams can rush for 1,000 yards? And while you're typing down below, let me just tell you guys about our sportsbook partner, BetUS. They are back for another season. So if you are looking to put some cheddar down on the NFL Hall of Fame game, Pro Football Hall of Fame game, or any preseason games, it's hard to bet the spread, but just hammer the over. Root for points. It's a lot more enjoyable to take preseason football in, rooting for touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code Broncos125, and they're going to give you guys a 125% deposit bonus. Moving on to some more bad injury news, and Riley Moss is going to be out for the preseason. Sean Payton said that the rookie corner from Iowa will miss the entire preseason the next 4 weeks after undergoing sports hernia surgery in Philadelphia. Now, Denver signed veteran cornerback Fabian Moreau, and at the time I thought, they just wanted some extra depth or something. I don't think this is about Riley Moss missing the first couple of days due to illness. That seems like a bit of a stretch. Now I'm wondering, was it really an illness because he got sports hernia surgery done? So now the Fabian Moreau signing makes a little bit more sense as an insurance policy in case Riley Moss misses some regular season time. Ultimately, Riley Moss was there battling with Damari Mathis for that second outside cornerback job, opposite of Pat Surtain, with K'Wan Williams working out of the slot. I wish I could be a little bit more upbeat about this, but if I'm being honest, if there is one time in your career you don't want to miss training camp, it's your rookie season. It's when you're going to be a sponge and learn the most and take it all in and try and catch up and, learn the playbook as quickly as possible. And most importantly, get acclimated to NFL speed. Right? It's a little bit different guarding white receivers from Iowa versus NFL wide receivers. And for Riley Moss, he needs those reps in August. So it's a big-time bummer that he will be out for the rest of the preseason. I was very excited to see what he could do. But the battle for that CB2, CB3 job, whatever you want to call it, with Damari Mathis is over, and it's going to be won by Mathis, virtue of Riley Moss out for the preseason. Hopefully he will be ready to go for the regular season. But we saw last year, Greg Dulcich, he dealt a hamstring injury that led into the first quarter of the season. So if we add them all up, here are the injuries so far, 1 week and change into training camp. Tim Patrick, gone for the season. KJ Hamler, he was waived, and with a hope of re-signing him in a month or so as he steps away for a little bit, dealing with a heart condition. Fingers crossed that everything will be okay on that front. But as of now, he is lost on this not on this roster due to an injury. Riley Moss, sports hernia, like we just talked about, and then Jonas Griffith out for the season with an ACL tear. It is a high of 84 degrees today in the Mile High City. So we have a warm plate take as our summer hot takes continue. And my warm plate take for today is that Patrick Surtain, he's going to get a pick six off Jimmy Garoppolo week 1 to start the game. I was just thinking about Riley Moss in this cornerback room and how just amazing Pat Surtain is, and he is going to be the best cornerback in football this year in my eyes. And it's going to start off with a bang, and he's going to pick off Jimmy G, and Denver's going to go up 7-0 2 minutes into the game. So call my shot right now. Pat Surtain, pick six against Jimmy G. Now, if you are ready to see that happen, spam PS2 down in the comment section. He was speaking to the media the other day. He had a PS2 controller outlined onto his thigh pad. So let's get the gamer mode activated. Let's show the guy some love and type PS2 in the comments.